Are we live? Okay, I think we're live. Hello, everyone. Good morning, or afternoon, or whatever time it is where you are. Hello. Hold on, let me adjust my mic a little bit. Give me 1 second. Okay, I think we're good. Hello, everyone. So, our plan for today is to continue punching this Oval Lakeview project. For those of you that didn't tune in on, I think it was Monday that I streamed, this is a free punch needle pattern from the Oxford Company. If you type exclamation point pattern in chat, you'll receive a link to this free pattern for you to download. I'm using this pattern as a de-stash opportunity, and I got started on it on Monday. So on Monday we did all of this. Some of this I did off stream, but quite a bit of this I did on stream. And now we're going to continue with it. And so the plan for today is to do these front trees here as best we can, and have quite a few scrap yarns to do that. So we're we're just going to get started. I think this might be more of like a stream where I punch quietly, but if there are people that want to chit chat, we will chit chat. I might put some music in the background just so we have a little bit of ambiance. Is this good? Let me know if the audio is good or bad or whatever, because I have no idea from my side. So let's get started. So we're gonna punch with the Oxford 10 regular and the Oxford 10 fine, just because this is the foreground of our piece. So we want kind of a, we want it to pop out against the background. So we're gonna be using these two needles, which are longer than what we did for the background. So let's, let's get started. So we have this bluish green yarn. You might recognize this yarn from when I did my punch needle pattern collection Vernalium back in February. This is one of the yarns that I used for it, and I have a bunch of it left over. So I think this is a good opportunity to use it up. Wait, but first, it might be a good idea to do the accents. So I have some light green yarn here from Briggs and Little Heritage. So I'm just gonna start off with this. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna start off with the accents. So these little parts here, and I'm gonna punch those in this light green. Hopefully this looks good. using these light I'm using this light green for these little parts of the tree, so that it gives off the impression of dimension. This isn't a 2D tree. We want anyone who looks at this piece to think of it as kind of a 3D tree. It isn't just like flat, there's leaves and there's branches and there's layers to all of this. So, this helps us do that. I want this piece to have a lot of dimension, especially because I've been doing a critical look at some of my work and just try to figure out ways that I can improve. And I just personally found that I use a lot of very like 2D techniques, and I'd personally just like to move kind of into the 3D a little bit, add more dimension, add more shading, play with light and shadow a little bit here and there. Yeah, this looks really cool. I might do these ones here as well, and then we can kind of move on to more shading and shaping the tree. The trees, I should say, plural. But before that, give me 1 second. Okay, I think we're good here. Um, okay, just wanted to check something. Okay, so let's continue. I wasn't really sure about how this sky part would look. Um, I was just kind of nervous about it, but I love the way this looks, if I'm gonna be really honest. It looks inspiring, honestly. Imagine like imagine waking up in the morning and seeing a sky like this. Like that would be sick. Let's get a little more slack on our yarn here. There we go. We'll do the same thing here on this last tree. I don't know why, but there's just something so cozy to me about this, about any pieces with like an oval shape or an oval frame around them, especially when there's like some sort of scene in the patterns themselves. So like this, for example, like a landscape or something like that. Okay, that looks good. So we'll put this aside for now. We will use this color later for a couple of other things, but for now what I want to do is kind of add some more shading to the tree and, add some more stuff. So I have this jade color from Briggs and Little Super. And what I want to do with this color here is accent the parts that are closest to the sun and perhaps add a little bit of an accent down here where underneath these lightest pieces, just so we can add the impression of light and shadow and make the piece just more dynamic. So we're going to take our Oxford 10 regular needle here. So maybe what I want to do is add just a little bit here like that. I think that's good. So let's do that. So maybe start at this little tip right here. And what I'll do is maybe move my frame like this so that it's easier for me to see where I'm going. So like so, and then just a little bit of shadow down here. There we go. And then we'll add some of um, this darker teal, blue-green in these spots here just to add more dimension. There we go. Now we can see here that the colors look kind of similar, but there is a little bit of a difference, which I think will kind of bring out the dimension of this piece. So let's continue. Gonna unwind some of this yarn so we can get some slack. Maybe I should change the title of this stream because it's not exactly quiet. I am talking a little. Maybe I'll change the title. Maybe I'll change it to kinda quiet morning punch needle time. I think that's good. So let's continue here. I'm gonna continue right where I left off here. Maybe I'll rotate my frame here. I think the fact that this yarn is mottled a little bit, meaning it's not completely evenly the same color, is actually not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing because it adds even more, I guess, dimensionality to this piece. Okay, this music is too depressing. Let me change the music a little bit. We would benefit from more of a we would benefit from a more upbeat. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, I like this. There we go. Snip off our yarn here. I can add another stitch here. There we go. So we can see here how the different yarns add just like a bunch of dimensionality. There's like, there's a lot going on, which is good. That's what we want. So what we're gonna do is just fill in these spots, just so that we have no monk's cloth showing. There we go. We're gonna push these ends through to the other side. I should really get better scissors, but for those of you that don't know me, I'm I'm the type of person who uses things until they break. So until these scissors break and I can't put them back together again, we are using them. So let's continue here. What I might want to do first is fill in some of the bushes here, which just so that we can have, just so we know where to space keep to fill in the rest of the tree. So maybe I'll do that. So we can just leave this threaded in. What I like doing with my punch needle so that they don't roll off or go anywhere is just stick them in. But yeah, what we'll do is we'll fill in some of these little bush parts. You know, one of the things that I want to do once I start making money off of YouTube is have an ASMR mic right here, right beside where I'm punching, so that everyone can hear all of the sounds because it's very satisfying. But if you're wondering what pattern this is the Oval Lake View pattern from the Oxford Company. If you type exclamation point pattern into the chat, you'll receive a link directly to the pattern for you to download. There we go. Actually, I think, yeah, we'll do this part just a little bit. So let's Okay, what I want to do is I want to continue this tree, but I don't want to just snip this yarn off here. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave an extra long tail, snip it off, and then once I'm done the trees and then everything else, and I want to continue the bush, I can just rethread my punch needle with this yarn here. So we'll leave that there, and we'll go back to the tree. There we go. Maybe we'll change the music a little bit. There. That's good. I want there to be a little bit of a gap, so what I'm gonna do is punch this just a little more narrowly than how I drew it. And doing this is totally okay. I think it's smart to reevaluate your written patterns as you're punching and make adjustments accordingly. That's what I think. I don't know if there's any fellow Canadians in chat or watching, but hope everyone has a good long weekend. Because for those of you that don't know, this Monday is Canadian Thanksgiving, so it's a long weekend. Everyone has the day off for the most part. I don't have any big Thanksgiving plans myself. My family isn't, we're not a big Thanksgiving family, funnily enough. Actually, there's a reason for that. There's a very there's a very specific reason for that. We're a house of vegetarians. No one's buying turkey. And don't even think about tofurkey or tofu turkey or whatever it's called. And I'm honestly like not a big fan of a lot of Thanksgiving foods. Um, I don't eat meat, so no turkey. Uh, obviously. Um, I don't care for cranberry sauce. I don't like pumpkin pie very much. I prefer apple pie. Um, like if we're gonna talk about like traditional fall pies, I love an apple pie. I love like a pecan pie. But like, if someone offered me a slice of pumpkin pie, I would eat it, obviously, because pie is pie. But like if there's like a selection of pies in front of me and I can choose which ones I want, like I wouldn't really take the pumpkin pie. But I love mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes are good. But not instant mashed potatoes. Like actual mashed potatoes. Like meaning you boiled your potatoes, you peeled the potatoes, you mashed the potatoes, and then you added like whatever you wanted to add. I just don't think you could go wrong with any potato dish. I love potatoes. I think all mashed potatoes are good, but my favorite mashed potatoes are garlic mashed potatoes. Those are so good. Garlic and like a little bit of like parsley or chive. That is so good. But yeah, I'm not too big of a fan of other Thanksgiving foods. Just gonna rotate this again. Speaking of like fall foods and fall desserts, I just feel like there's so much more you could do than just like a pie. Like my mom the other day made this like apple crumble and it was so good. I mean, I helped, but like not really. Because I do think like apple and cinnamon are just very like they're yummy fall flavors. I definitely like 100% prefer it over pumpkin. Like I think if you want to do something like pumpkin or squash related, like I love like a butternut squash soup or like a butternut squash ravioli. That is so good. I just love squash in like savory settings, like pumpkins and squashes. Oh, that's so good. There we go. Now, the real question we have to ask ourselves is what is the difference between like a Thanksgiving food and a like a Christmas food? Because as far as I know, keep in mind, now I'm in a house full of vegetarians. Keep in mind, I'm pretty sure other people will also eat turkey at Christmas. And people will have like mashed potatoes and like stuffing and dinner rolls and that sort of stuff. I suppose with Christmas, there's like the addition of like fruitcake, perhaps. I do think, I guess there's more, you have more leeway in what's considered a Christmas food. Like you can say, oh, this is a Christmas food. We eat this at home during the holidays. And people would be like, yeah, okay. Okay, we are done our first tree. One of three. Okay. Okay, that looks pretty good. Do we want to flip it over and take a look at the front? Okay. Look at that. That's looking pretty good. Now, what I think might be a good idea to do now rather than later is snip off our ends of yarn here. Future me will thank myself for doing this now rather than later when our piece gets filled in and it's more confusing to know where all of our ends are. So let's do it now rather than later. There's a tiny piece of hay in my yarn here. Just want to get it out. There we go. Let's change the music. Oh, this is nice. Just want to make sure that we have all of our ends out. There. Now, the reason why I'm not cutting off these bottom loops here is because I want to fill in the space first. So then we have like, there's a little bit of like a buffer. We're not just against blank monk's cloth. These ends here in the middle and these ends here at the top are fine because they're surrounded by other loops, but these ones aren't. So we're gonna leave them be. Eureka. Let's switch songs. Um, this is good. This is upbeat. This is it's more lively, I should say. Okay, what do we think? I think it looks pretty good. So what I want to do next is I want to snip off the ends of this tree here. As best I can. that was what we call a loop over. Okay, what I might do is leave these be for now, um, and then continue on the next tree here. I think that's a good idea. So to highlight the fact that these two trees are two separate trees, I have this super dark green yarn, and I'll probably use it just here around the edges so that we have like so we can define it, I guess, as a new, we can help define it as a new tree. Hold on, I'm just gonna, there we go. Thinking, I'm wondering whether we need more dark green, just to further define this as another separate tree. Maybe we do. Maybe I add just like all of this and make it dark green. I think that'll look good. So let me unwind a whole bunch of this yarn. So something like this is what I was thinking. Yeah, I think that's good. For those of you that don't know what yarn this is Briggs & Little Atlantic in the shade dark green. And Briggs & Little Atlantic is it's an interesting yarn because it's different. It's thicker than the Briggs & Little Heritage, which you see right here. You can clearly see that the Atlantic is thicker. Maybe I'll pick it up. Yeah, you can see it's quite a bit thicker, but it's thinner than the Briggs & Little Super, which is like this. You can clearly see that the Super is thicker than the Atlantic. So it makes it kind of awkward for spacing and for punching. But you know what? We make do the best we can because it looks really cool on the other side. Go. Snip off our yarn. There we go. As you can see, the spacing is kind of weird for this yarn. The stitch spacing, the stitch size. So there we go. Um, so let's finish the rest of it with this lighter teal. Same one that we used here. Gonna There we go. Hmm. See, that's the thing with the Briggs & Little Atlantic yarn. It just... Somehow, when you end up using it, you just have these weird spaces left over. Which makes other yarns, like this Briggs & Little Super, more, like, awkward to maneuver. Okay. Okay, I think... I think what we'll do is we'll punch this last tree and then we'll be done for the day. So what we'll do is we will move to this lighter jade here, just like for this one, how we added a little bit of lighter yarn here to reflect like light and shadow and whatever. We'll do the same thing for this tree. Too low, actually. Might start here instead. Sorry. This can be a little bit bigger. There we go. My own background music was distracting me. So let's get through this final stretch here. Snip. Um, so this is where the bush is gonna be. So I'm just gonna punch the tree just a row above. I think that's fine. There we go. I'm so locked in right now. Okay, there we go. Snip off our yarn. Okay, there we go. Oops. I ripped out a few stitches from here, but that's fine. So we're gonna poke these ends in. Okay. Um, okay, we have a little bit of a we have a blank space here that we can easily punch in using three simple stitches. One, two, then where do I put number three? Um, let me think. Or we could also just redo this. So let's take these stitches out. Um, maybe snip off our yarn here. Push the tail through to the other side. Give me 1 second. I'm just plugging in my laptop. There we go. I'm sure you've heard that. I do not want this stream to end by my battery running out, so that has happened to me one too many times while I was recording. Okay, so um that doesn't look right. Maybe okay, here's my idea. We punch all of this like so, and then with the scrap that we pulled out, give me a second while I thread this through. We do something like this. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that looks so much better. Okay. Yeah, I like that. Let's just make sure that all of our ends are in. And yeah, so I think we're done for today. We got a lot done. Um, we figured out how to do trees in a way that we're happy with. Um, yeah, I'll work on this a bit more off stream. So next time I do go live, it'll be a lot more filled in, I think. So yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. Next time I stream will be next week. So after Monday, after Thanksgiving. So yeah, hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. If you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, hope you have a great long weekend. If you don't have a long weekend this weekend because you're not in Canada, hope your weekend is good. But yeah, I'll see you next week after Thanksgiving. So after Monday. Okay. Bye, everyone.